Who Sargeras really aimed at? Naru inside Azeroth? The war within cinematic. Yeah, so much to break down here. So much cool lore was revealed. A lore essentially that'll expand over 3 cinematics. Let's see what the truth teller, Doran, has to tell us about what this all means.
New cinematics are out, and while they may seem very straightforward at first glance, they're definitely foreshadowing
Well, they give us a new battleground, so I
really,
wouldn't say it's the end of
interesting
PvP.
things. The World Soul whispers that Anduin and Troll here may not be the World Soul itself, and in fact, may be something a lot more sinister, manipulating a soul. Sargeras definitely knew something that we didn't. The sword was more than just trying to stab Azeroth, and most importantly, it appears like a fully fledged Naru. He has been living inside Azeroth for a while. Like
Yeah,
humans were drawn to this place all the way from the Eastern Kingdoms. Was this a site of an unknown light invasion of Azeroth that the Titans wanted to hide? Or was this where the Naru were flunked in the original ordering of the universe? Let's cover the most interesting bits of the War Within cinematics, as all of this seems like amazing potential for what is to come to Warcraft. As gamers, you're also most certain to gadgets, and that is exactly what I'm excited to talk
Look,
about.
in terms of
This
story,
video's sponsor, Gadget
I've said
Discovery
it, this is
Club.
the
Now,
Infinity
because
Saga
it's
for
two
World of
these
Warcraft.
boxes,
I
and
totally
there's
feel
so
like
much
it is.
more than I could expect.
And I do feel like Chris Metzen realigned the light with the void in terms of good versus evil. Because I felt like Blizzard was kind of playing with this stupid idea that the light is evil or something. No. This is straight up light is good. It's going to defeat shadow, and we're going to, we're going to defeat the void with the power of the light.
And best of all, they're not going to be super cheap stuff. There's always going to be something
And
useful,
get this.
and they're always
Use
going to be
Doran's
worth
code.
at least $125. You can pay annually, you can pay quarterly, but best of all, this could be a perfect gift, especially now for the holiday season, as you can give someone that is really into gadgets this box, and they're going to receive a whole bunch of really interesting things. So if there's never been a better time to join the Gadget Discovery Club, click my link in the description and use code Doran's Movies to get 20% off
Use
your
code
order or
Doran's
your
Movies,
gift.
there you go.
So make sure to click my link in the description below.
Joke's on you, Bobby wrote the saga.
So,
The boat
by this
saga.
point in time, all of you have almost certainly listened to the BlizzCon panels, read all the info, the compilations. I don't really want to compile the features, pair the same stuff you can read anywhere that you have heard already. I want to dig into the meat of the lore, to take a few gems from the recent cinematics, some that have gone unnoticed, some that the community has been heavily discussing, and I really want to dissect it and explain it as best as we can, at least with the current amount of information. Now, the War Within cinematic, the CGI and the trailer are not particularly mysterious inherently. I mean, they seem very straightforward on first glance. It is just Anduin and Troll talking with
so
the sword
real.
in the background. A lot of people have said it is even boring. It's just two guys talking. And of course, we got the trailer showing the new zones. But as always, things may not be as they seem. Starting off with a cinematic, we have, of course, grizzled Anduin that has not actually been aged. The initial speculation based on that comic that we got back in Legion was that he would be an old man, but that is in the ultimate light versus void invasion, so there is still time for that, but he obviously seems to have been broken. Anduin experiencing PTSD from the jailer is like...
I like the look of the new Anduin. I do. He looks like he's been through shit. He's not like this clean prince priesty boy who was running around Pandaria, using butt plugs, him and Rathian back and forth. No, like this looks like an Anduin who's been through some shit and doesn't know exactly how to deal with it. I want him to learn how to deal with this shit and become the king he needs to be. I do. I want to see him make Varian proud. I want to see him stop being a bitch and man up. And now people were saying, oh, why is Anduin still crying? He's still a bitch. I think this is the beginning of the arc. I think we're going to get a very badass Anduin at the end of all of this. That's my hope, because I think we deserve that.
Experience all of us share, but the big thing though is that he is now getting the whispers, the callings, like most of the denizens of Azeroth. First,
he looks badass. He does. He looks like he's ready to fucking go.
Questions you may have is like, where's
time to wake up,
Anduin actually been? I mean, has the guy just been hiding at the Daenerys this entire time and we couldn't figure it out?
Exactly.
For like 5 years.
Exactly. I didn't see it as crying. I saw it as trauma, and he's going to recover from this trauma now.
have passed since all those events? The answer at the moment is we don't really know fully. It is likely that he has traveled outside of Azeroth. We know that Gen has sighted him on Azeroth, but he almost certainly returned here, particularly as the voices were probably stronger around the sword, that he also started getting stronger visions of what is to come. The dialogue itself is pretty straightforward, but the big mystery...
The thing that I don't like, you guys are all saying, yeah, Asmund called him a bitch. The reason why I don't necessarily see him as a bitch in this cinematic, okay, he was a bitch for leaving, right? And he's been, you know, he lost. Look, Anduin's had a fucked up childhood. Okay, this guy's childhood's messed up. He was a boy king for the longest time. Turns out that one of the people who literally stood at his left-hand side turned out to be fucking a corrupted dragon that was trying to fuck everything up for him. Then his dad returns, only to get turned into a pile of dust by Gul'dan in his fucking Legion invasion. So he's alone again. Like, he had a fucked up childhood. Now, the only bitchiness about Anduin is kind of like that he kind of abandoned the alliance, right? He kind of left, and he was the king that everybody needed. Like, it feels like that's not something his dad would have done. Like, his dad also had a fucked up life, but as soon as he regained his mind, he was the king of Stormwind. He lost his wife. He was a slave for a long time in a freaking gladiator battleground. Like, he went through a lot of messed up shit. But when it came to being a king, he was a king. And that's the part that Anduin has not been like his father in. But I think we're about to see that change. And that's why I was okay with the emotion and everything, because I feel like, you know, he's living through everything he's been through, and now he's going to learn to deal with it. And now he's going to man up. Now he's going to go full testosterone, Giga Chad king, and that's what we're going to get out of this.
Everyone has been talking about right now is the voice. Why are
once a lever, always a lever? No, I don't think so.
Wondering what this voice is? Why are they confused? Like, was it not common knowledge by this point that the world soul can speak? I mean, everyone literally knows this. I think the real answer to this is that it might not just be Azeroth speaking, and they're definitely being skeptical about it. They know something is going on. If you put the captions on the actual Blizzard cinematic, it literally just says World Soul Whispering, but I think this is way too straightforward for Blizzard to do. It would essentially be like just giving us the whole story. In this cinematic, both Anduin and Trolls start wondering what exactly was the sword aimed at. That was like the big point of the entire cinematic. With the Azerite crisis, and keep in mind Anduin was in charge at this point in time, they definitely knew about the World Soul, so I think they're questioning whether it was really aimed at the World Soul or if there is something more sinister brewing under the ground. Of course, that only leaves us to speculations right now, but keep in mind, Xal'atath is building a new Black Empire, as Blizzard just said, below the ground, using dead old god blood, so I literally wouldn't be surprised if a Void Lord is being built there that might manifest in the second expansion, or it could have something to do with the first ones. However, it is almost certain that this isn't just the World Soul Whispering and awakening in the natural process as you would expect. The reason I say this is the features trailer where we get Illyria talking about how she isn't getting the same whispers as everyone else is getting, but instead, her whispers are not radiant and she can only hear the shadow. This makes 100% perfect sense. I mean, she's by this point essentially a void being. She's way more fine-tuned to this void stuff. Remember, guys,
Illyria is going to be a big part of this. And at 10, you just said something very interesting, that the war within has a double meaning because there's going to be a battle within some of the characters like Illyria, Anduin, and Turellian. That's a very astute thought there. That is. There's definitely going to be a war within with a lot of these characters. We saw Thrall go through it a lot already, you know, where Garrosh came back and Garrosh. Oh, man, what's his name? He came back, whatever. He came back and found him in Nagrand, and he was abandoning everything that he had done before. He had that battle, and now I think he's going to help Anduin get through it. He's going to help Anduin get through it. Sourfang was who I was thinking of. He helped Anduin. Yes, thank J-Mo. He's gonna help Anduin get through it like how Sourfang helped him. That's what I see happening. Now, King Julian, do I think Asmund is not the spokesperson of the Alliance? No, he's just a fellow Alliance player who happens to have the same passion for having a good king as I do. That's it. Yeah, we are going to raid, yes.
we got that document how the
Illyria might become the
Harbinger
enemy?
will
I
complete the
don't know about
awakening.
that.
In this case, finishing what the Black Empire almost finished in the very ancient past, and we know the goal was to turn the
Illyria
world.
is a person who can fight against the corruption of the void. I think she's going to be a very much an anti-void person, even though she's delving into the void. I think she's going to help us a lot going forward. She's going to be a big part of this against Zalatesh. Like her and Zalatesh are probably going to have a big rivalry going forward.
Soul into a being of the void, like a void titan. So it is very likely that is
well, you're
what
gonna
could
get
be
it, Sugar
happening.
Dust.
And Illyria is able to sense the void nodes from the world soul, the half corrupted speaking. I know it might seem like a crazy or even really not so crazy speculation right now, but guys, we are literally getting a full-scale void invasion in about midnight. I mean, they essentially confirmed this happening. It is absolutely not unheard of that this void invasion comes from within Azeroth, from Zalateth's plan that she is doing in this expansion. That also brings us to the third expansion, the Titans. As you may know, they will do anything, like they would even destroy Azeroth, but they will never let it turn into a being of the void. Anyway, that is a speculation on the overarching storyline of these three expansions, but let's get into, my opinion, the most interesting bit we had gotten from this trailer, and that is this mysterious, gigantic light crystal just chilling in the sky.
What is that?
When I say sky, I don't mean...
Some people talked about it being the tip of the sword. You know, just the tip. That's what I'm saying. But I think it's not. I think they confirmed that it's some kind of crystal or something. Which is, this whole zone has some very cool storytelling to be had.
So in Hollowfall,
it's a Naru. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to say.
There is a massive light crystal in the sky that is turning this underground zone to look almost like a normal one. Now, first speculation everyone got was that
they said
this
it's a
is
crystal.
the tip of Sargeras' sword, and this is kind of the logical conclusion, as the first cinematic emphasized the sword itself. And while I think that could have been cool, I'm almost certain this 100% isn't the case. First off, we can see most of the sword in Silitus. It wouldn't also really work from geographical terms, like it would really have to bend. And the second, because the light worshipping humans came here a while ago, and they are particularly attached.
This whole zone in general, like, I love the aesthetic of the new zone at the top. I forgot what it's called. The new zone at the top is the nicest, like, aesthetically. It's most aesthetically pleasing. But this zone is the most badass in terms of storytelling to me. It's really cool. Like, these people that have been down, these like light worshipping guys that have been down here the whole time, the very, like, you know, medieval church aesthetic going on down here, and then this crystal that nobody understands what it's doing, but it keeps all the bad guys away. And every time it goes out, there's like a big invasion of bad boys that we got to repel. This whole zone is going to reveal some really cool storylines that I'm excited to play through.
This crystal, they built an entire culture around it, and the sorting only happened a few years back. The most realistic, and I'm almost certain this is the case, is that this is a Naru related thing. Now, let me read out a super intriguing chronicle chapter that will shed more light.
It looks old and new at the same time. Yeah, it's a good.
The cataclysmic birth of the cosmos also flung shards of light throughout reality. These shards suffuse the matter of myriad worlds with a spark of life, giving rise to creatures of wondrous and terrible diversity. So, as you may know by the lore, the Naru are quite literally shards of light. That is exactly why they look like shards of light. It is almost certain that some of these have hit Azeroth in the ancient past. I would be surprised if they didn't, and that is what actually sparked life on Azeroth. Keep in mind, the Earthen were sent to examine a fissure, which essentially means a hole, cracked earth, which is exactly what would happen when a gigantic shard would strike the earth. The Titans, as a predatory force, just wanted to hide this, sent their Earthen, and when they got there, they probably figured out what was really going on. Most people have identified the look of this to match very closely with all the Naru architecture as well as all their spaceships. Other than this being a primordial shard of the creation of the universe, it could also be a place where the light had invaded in the ancient past. Maybe before the Titan Order, the light attempted to break the Black Empire, as the Void, as you may know, is also their main enemy, and they failed. And then the Titans, as they saved Azeroth, they wanted to appear as the only good guys in the universe, so they kind of hit it. This honestly makes sense. Like, why would the light never attempt anything on Azeroth? I mean, we had literally seen them invading Shadowlands. They probably know how important Azeroth is, so I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they tried to invade it in some ancient past, and the Titan history just hid all that stuff.
Yeah,
Nonetheless, the plot thickens. So, as you might have seen from the trailer, these Kultiran light humans living here, and we got an explanation from Blizzard on who they are exactly. Long story short, this is an Arathian expedition that reached this place that has lived here for a really long time.
Such
It
cool
is
architecture.
noted that they're fairly recent arrivals when compared to the Earthen, but they have been living here for who knows how long, probably hundreds of years. Arathi is the original human nation. Pretty much all humans are their descendants. This nation was specifically built around this crystal, and I would go on a limb here and say that this is probably what had brought them into this place. Remember, humans are one of the original worshippers of the light on Azeroth.
And the light was always portrayed as good. V the Man, you said exactly what I was saying earlier. This whole like gray area where is the light good, are the Naru kind of messed up, is who's good, who's bad, I think that's gone. I think we're going full-fledged, light is good, void is bad. I think that's, Chris Metzen hinted at that a lot. And I think that's the right way to go. I don't like this whole like, are we on the right side? Who's right? Are we going to get tricked? Who's playing 4D chess now? No, fuck that. We're going into a war. The light is at our back, blasting and illuminating through the shadow that is the void. That's what I want to see. That's the cool thing that I think we're getting. And I think we're going to get kind of like a rewriting. Because originally the Naru and the light were only good, really. And then it kind of got muddled with all this other shit. No, I think we're getting the light is good again. And the void is bad. And that's what I want. I want good versus bad. Let's go. Let's go. We know who the enemy is. Avengers assemble moment. Let's charge forward.
In fact, the first ones, as far as we know, the only explanation why they would venture so
inspiring
far from the
fantasy,
northern eastern kingdoms to this place is that they were drawn in by this ancient force, and probably these more fanatical light worshippers plan to do something here. Now, as I said, this light crystal is super interesting. This entire continent is much more than an island. It isn't just boring for new zones, new discovered island, but in fact, all these places are actually in layers, and this is a fully underground zone, but the light crystal is making it so much different that even the plants are accustomed to it, like it is the sun. However, dark things have happened as it very recently started turning into a being of the void. It always comes back to the light, but Blizzard hinted that at some point it might not actually reverse. For everyone that has played WoW for a while, you might know that this is pretty much the exact nature of the Naru. They're beings of pure light that can turn into the beings of the pure void. This fissure is literally said to be the chamber from where you can reach the world soul of Azeroth. If Azeroth is getting corrupted by the void, it makes sense that this would also transform into the void, this crystal, which would honestly turn it into a super amazing asset for Xal'atath when you really think about her plan. Also ties in perfectly. The Nerubians are attacking and destroying these humans, the light worshippers, and the Nerubians are brand new allies of Xal'atath that she made a pact with.
Man, Xal'atath's new model, can I just say, damn, that looks good. I've been saying for a while, Xal'atath needs a new model. I mean, it's not bad.
These guys could be the children of the first flesh that we had heard about. Even now, the children of the first flesh gather. There is definitely some type of a reason these Nerubians live right behind the wall of the world soul of Azeroth.
The Void Elves.
Even more interesting, this could explain a light invasion, as this was literally flung right next to the core of Azeroth, probably attempting to completely destroy the world soul. It could realistically explain Sargeras' stab, as he might have just goofed around the mist, as Silitus is really not that far from this place where he was actually supposed to strike. Of course, we still got so much more information that is going to come out, but it looks like it is going to be really interesting next few years for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Don't forget to check out the Gadget Discovery Club with my link in the description below. Thank you for watching. Check out the original WoW expansion that was replaced by TBC and cancelled by clicking on the screen. And also check out my video on ancient Greek colonies in Spain by also clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Yeah, great video. All in all, I do see this as a realignment. I see that Chris Metzen came in and he was like, dude, this is fucked up. You guys really messed shit up. I need 3 expansions. Give me 3 expansions. I'm going to fix this shit. Because we're going back to the days when men were men. And women, you know, can be tough too. Don't worry about it. We got some good female characters in here. But we're going back to the days where good is good, evil is evil. We got fucking Inquisitors and shit. We got all this Lightforged stuff. We are going fully back into the light. The light is good, and it is going to help us defeat the evil. That is the darkness. That is the shadow. Light is good. Shadow is bad. Let's fight it out. Let's duke it out. It's going to be massive armies. I'm telling you, we're going to have an Avengers Assemble moment. Anduin standing there with Shallowmane. All the old Alliance characters, all the old Horde characters, everybody together. Tyr, freaking Illidan, freaking Velen, Prophet Velen. We'll have all the boys reassembled and everybody will be ready with the light at our back to finally repel the evil that is the darkness, that is the shadow. I'm so damn excited for this. It is a straightforward story. It ain't no 4D chess. This is boys picking up swords and shields and being ready to die to save the world. That's fucking exciting, and I can't wait for it.